לבית אבותם למשפחותם מבין 30 שנה ומעלה עד בין 50 שנה תפקוד אותם כל הבא לצוות צבא לעבוד עבודה באוהל מועד וידבר אדוני אל משה לאמור נשאו את ראש בני גרשון גם הם לבית אבותם למשפחותם מבין 30 שנה ומעלה עד בין 50 שנה מבין 30 שנה ומעלה בין 50 שנה תפקוד אותם כל הבא לצוות צבא לעבוד עבודה באוהל מועד
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome. Good to see everyone here this evening, and Shabbat Shalom to those who are watching on live stream as well. We are going to begin on page 142.
I'm wrong. It's the wrong thing. I apologize. It's not. We can't start with Shalom Aleichem.
Not 142?
Apologies. Give me just
Okay. So Hine Matov is the song, so the good news is I'm sure you know the words.
Sorry.
However, okay, it is on page 128.
Thanks. Apologies.
128.
Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad.
We'll continue now on page 120 with the lighting of Shabbat candles. And I'd like to invite Andrea Barbakov to lead us in the lighting and blessing. Yeah.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Amen. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Andrea. We'll continue now on page 127. We offer thanks, O God, for this Shabbat, which unites us in faith and hope, for Shabbat holiness, which inspires sacred living, for Shabbat memories glowing even in darkness, for Shabbat peace born of friendship and love. We offer thanks and blessing, O God. We'll continue with Lecha Dodi, page 138. As always, we'll sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And during the last verse, if you'd like to stand and face the door to symbolically welcome the Shabbat bride, please do so. Those watching on live stream, feel free to stand and face your doorway as well.
Ya la 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 lecha dodi, ya la 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 likrat kala, ya la 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 penei Shabbat nekabela, shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad. Hishmiyanu el hameyuchad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, l'shemo tiferet v'lithilah. Ya la la, ya la 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 la, lecha dodi, ya la 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 la, likrat kala, ya la 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 la, Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki mekor haberacha meirosh mikedem nesucha sof mahaseh b'machshava techila ya la la lecha dodi ya la la likrat kala ya la la penei Shabbat nekabela hitoreri ki va'orech kumiori uri shir dameri kevod Adonai halayich nigla ya la la lecha dodi ya la likrat kala ya la penei Shabbat nekabela boi v'shalom ateret bala Gam besimcha uvetzola toch emunei am segula boichana ya la la lecha dodi ya la likrat kala ya la penei Shabbat nekabela.
I'll continue on page 145. Teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer on the mystery of a withered leaf, on ripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair. Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days. Lest my day be today as the one before, lest routine set my ways. Chatzi Kaddish is on page 144.
Yitkada veyitkada shemei rabba ve'alma divrach chirutei ve'amlich malchutei b'chayeichon v'yomeichon ובחיי כל בית ישראל בגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן יהי שמי רבא מבורך לעולם עולם מעלמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמר קודשא בריחו להילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תאמירן מעלמה ויאמרו אמן.
And please rise for Baruch, page 146.
Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la, yai la 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 la, yai la 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 la. Barechu et Adonai, hamevorach. Baruch Adonai, hamevorach, hamevorach, le'olam va'ed. Hamevorach, hamevorach, le'olam va'ed.
Page 148. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chochma poteach she'arim, uvitvuna mishane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umisader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtsono. Borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Uma'avir yom umevi layla, umavdil ben yom uvein layla, Adonai tzvaot shemo. El chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. We continue with Shema, page 152.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
We'll continue with Ve'ahavta, page 154. Please be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
We'll continue reading responsively on page 157 in the middle. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth.
May earth reveal your justice and love.
From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
When the nations shall be one in our place, and we shall rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
Page 158.
Yai la 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 la. Mi chama chaba elim Adonai, mi chama chaneh darba kodesh, nora tehilot osef hele, nora tehilot osef hele. Malchut chara uvanecha, okei ayam lifnei Moshe uMiriam, zeilianu ve'amru, zeilianu ve'ameru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed.
On page 160, we'll pray together that we lie down in peace and rise up to renewed life as we sing Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamideinu shomreinu l'chayim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamideinu shomreinu l'chayim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamideinu shomreinu l'chayim, l'chayim, l'chayim.
Page 163. A thought has blown the marketplace away. There is a song in the wind and joy in the trees. Shabbat arrives in the world, scattering a song in the silence of the night. Eternity utters a day. Continue with Vishamru, page 162.
Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. הנה יובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני
Israel
et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Please rise as we join in Tefillah, beginning page 164.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, ve'Konei HaKol, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, צומח נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומדומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ולמצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. Page 171. Days pass and the years vanish, and we walk sightless among miracles. God, fill our eyes with seeing and our minds with knowing. Let there be moments when your presence, like lightning, illumines the darkness in which we walk. Help us to see wherever we gaze that the bush burns unconsumed. And we, clay touched by God, will reach out for holiness and exclaim in wonder, how filled with awe is this place, and we did not know it. Blessed is the Eternal One, the Holy God. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Page 179. Don't stop after beating the swords into plowshares. Don't stop. Go on beating and make musical instruments out of them. Whoever wants to make war again will have to turn them into plowshares first. Shalom Rav, Prayer for Peace, is on page 178.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'yolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'yolam. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol hashalom, lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol hashalom, lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'yolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'yolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael, et amcha Yisrael. Bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך, בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם, לעולם, לעולם.
Take a moment now for individual silent prayer and reflection. We'll turn now to Seder Kriyat HaTorah, service for the reading of Torah, beginning on page 364. And I'd like to ask everyone to please rise, invite Howie Kanowitz to carry the Torah for us, and in a few moments after we return from the Hakafah, Barbara Meyer to undress the scroll. So this week we are reading a little differently than part of the Jewish world. And the reason for that is because of Shavuot. Shavuot is celebrated for 2 days in the conservative and Orthodox movements, but in the Reform movement there's only 1 day. So Shavuot is officially over and we are celebrating only Shabbat today, even though we are having our Yizkor this evening. And so we are not reading a portion for second day Shavuot. We are reading the first part of the portion Naso in the book of Numbers, chapter 4, verse 1. It's on page 1041. And next week we the Reform movement will read the second half of Naso, and that keeps us in line with the rest of the Jewish world after next weekend, moving forward. So this is actually my bar mitzvah portion, not this actual section, but this portion. And it was, 3-4 years ago, something like that. And so very meaningful portion to me. Here you go. We are on page 1041. And for our Aliyah, Ya'amod Moshe ben Yudel Varocho, we call Mort Rosen.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMavarach.
Baruch Adonai HaMavarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMavarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bacha Banu Mikol Amim V'natan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Notein HaTorah.
Amen.
That's not the bottom. That's not the right part. I've gotten Naso.
No, this is Naso. Yes, Naso.
I have to, but that's not.
Oh.
It's not the same part of the portion.
Oh.
We're at, it should be right over Naso. Oh, we're doing a different part of Naso. I was at the beginning of the Parsha. Hold on.
This is the beginning.
I was just. That is not what I had. That's not what I had.
What do you have?
Naso.
Yeah.
21.
21?
Am I wrong? What's that wrong? I had numbers 4.
It is Numbers 4, number 1.
Okay. I'll do this. וידבר אדוני אל משה ואל אהרון לאמור נשא את ראש בני קחת מתוך בני לוי למשפחותם לבית אבותם מבין 30 שנה ומעלה עד בין 50 שנה כלבה לצבא לעשות מלכה באוהל מועד.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Natan Lanu Torah Emet V'chayei Olam Nata B'tokenu Baruch Atah Adonai Notein HaTorah.
Amen. Yeshua. Thank you. A prayer for healing for loved ones. Misha Berach, Avotenu, Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov, v'Imotenu, Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah, Hu Yivarech, v'Yirapeh et kol cholei Yisrael v'et kol cholei Adam. May God, who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal all those who are in need of healing. On this Shabbat, we think especially of Ralph Stolovitsky, Guillaume Pigny, Michelle Rosenberg, Howard Block, Ann Gerstein, Mary Jo Ray, Susan Ritter, Cantor Bob Scher, Jenny Trakoval, Daniel Lewis, James Rooney, Jennifer Meyer, Rick Davis, Kiana Weaver, Maddie Alter, John Frasca, Jill Sloan Marcotte, Ira Berezowski, Aaron Berezowski, Jim Walker, Christine McSherry Strovnik, Sarah Shikora, Anthony Casino, Teresa De Benedetto, Lisa Taub, Candy Jossi, Laser Lieberman, Alan Spector, Judy Lesser, Margaret Schoenfeld, Eleanor Doria, Bat-Chava Evelyn, Joan Taylor, Lindsay Hartman, Lucas Hartman, Bill De Benedetto, Dominic Carlucci, Susan Sadins, Nancy Blake, Leah Henry, Danielle Stile. We also pray for healing for servicemen and servicewomen who have been wounded or injured on behalf of our country. If you have a name or names of someone who's sick or injured in need of healing, please feel free to mention the name or names as I look in your direction. Those watching on live stream, feel free to mention at this time as well. V'tishlach lehem refuah shlema, refuat nefesh, or refuat guf v'nomar. Amen. May God grant all of them, those in our hearts and minds, and those whose names we have read and mentioned, a complete and speedy healing, a healing of body and a healing of spirit. And we say together, Amen. Amen. And we'll turn now to page 371, middle of the page, and join in singing Misha Berach, Prayer of Healing for Loved Ones.
Misha Berach Avoteinu Mekor HaBaracha Le'imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBaracha Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
And we'll prepare now to lift and dress the Torah scroll and return it to the ark. I'd like to invite Charles Miller for Hagbah to lift the scroll and Lloyd Newman to dress the scroll for Galila. Please rise. Page 370 and 374.
Vezot HaTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael. Ati Adonai
A little less tight.
Beyad Moshe. Yalalai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 la lai lai la lai lai.
That first. That one first.
Eitz
no, that one first.
Chaim hi lama chazikim ba vetomchecha
Perfect. Thank you.
meyushar
Thank you.
derachecha darecheinu oam v'chol netivotecha
So, among other things, this week's Torah portion talks about Nazarites, a topic which seems rather obscure. After all, most of us don't run into too many Nazarites these days. Still, the portion, when studied, proves to be quite interesting and contains a modern message for us. The basic rules for becoming a Nazarite are clear and relatively simple. One was to abstain from alcohol and cutting one's hair, and was to avoid contact with the dead, which would defile one's special status of holiness. Famous biblical Nazarites include Samson and Samuel. It would also seem that John the Baptist was a Nazarite, and that Paul, formerly Saul of Tarsus, temporarily and voluntarily underwent certain forms of abstinence. The prohibition against alcohol stems from the fact that the debilitating effects of wine were well known at the time. For wine was in universal use in the Near East and in the Mediterranean basin. What was not fully understood, however, was the physiological cause for the irrational behavior of the drinker. And it is likely that alcohol was originally deemed to contain or spawn supernatural powers, which were in competition with the gods, they believed. And the English expression spirits for alcohol testifies to this ancient belief. As to the prohibition against cutting hair, it is a common belief that the hair is part of the person's vital being. If the one main object is to keep the person's power and vitality at the fullest, the hair is never shorn. Now you may understand why I personally have trouble accepting this notion. And yet the fact remains, as Rabbi Gunther Plaut, my rabbi growing up and the author of this Torah commentary, he remarked that throughout history, the hair of the head has been important to people. Men and women have usually considered it as the crown of the visible self, the most malleable part of the external personality. They have beautified it, shaped or colored it, and have on occasion removed or hidden it. Already in biblical times, cutting a man's beard against his will, as was done, for example, by Nazis to Jews, or a woman's hair in punishment, as was done in France and Northern Ireland by partisans to those accused of collaboration. That represented the ultimate in public humiliation. And prohibitions undergone by Nazarites are not limited to biblical times. Modern-day Muslims, for example, abstain from alcohol and other intoxicants due to the interpretation of the Quran by Islamic commentators, probably based on a similar physiological reason to those mentioned earlier. As well, to this day, many observant Jews will not shave the corners of their beards. Detailed regulations govern the methods of trimming the beard, and a chassid is distinguished by his earlocks, or peyot, in Hebrew, payas, as we often have heard, which means corners. By their appearance, the observant aim to testify to membership in a people who are all consecrated to God. Despite the traditions of these few, however, Jewish opposition to asceticism grew over the years, and such practices never again became institutionalized as they did in Christianity, with its various kinds of holy orders and the assumption of celibacy by priests and others. The Talmudic passage from the Tractate on Nazarites, Nazir, page 19a, claims that the Nazarite has in effect sinned against his own soul by denying himself the luxury of wine, and adds, how much greater, therefore, the sin of one who denies himself any necessities of life. Even someone who fasted longer than required was considered a sinner. Furthermore, the rabbinic tradition also considered asceticism to be a sin against others. If Judaism strongly opposes such apparently antisocial behavior, of what relevance, therefore, are such practices to us today? Clearly, we see that though there are times which require seriousness, life should be enjoyed as much as possible. And yet, what of that degree of seriousness? Though we need not take vows of asceticism, we still may show our commitment to those things which are of value to us. The Nazarites in their time would take solemn vows to indicate their loyalty to God. In biblical times, the power of the word was thought to be very great, and such vows were therefore legally binding. Today, however, people are skeptical about such a concept. We commonly hear phrases like, talk is cheap, or more significantly, actions speak louder than words. Even in biblical times, such oaths were meaningless unless actually completely undermined, if not followed by the appropriate actions, for the oaths symbolized a strong commitment. Today, though we use no oaths in such matters, we still greatly need this commitment, a commitment to family, friends, and religion, to all that we greatly cherish. Judaism, especially liberal forms of Judaism, has always allowed one to show such commitment in many ways, while also leaving room to develop in many other areas. In other words, it allows us to live within a tradition, yet to be our own persons. I hope that we will fulfill the potential to take full advantage of the opportunities which Judaism has to offer. Shabbat Shalom. We'll turn now to the Yizkor portion of our service on page 574. Adonai ma'adam v'teda'ehu ben enosh v'tchashvehu. Adonai, what are we that you have regard for us? What are we that you are mindful of us? We are like a breath, our days are as a passing shadow. We come and go like grass which in the morning shoots up renewed, and in the evening fades and withers. You cause us to revert to dust, saying, return, O mortal creatures. Would that we were wise, that we understood where we are going. For when we die, we carry nothing away. Our glory does not accompany us. Mark the wholehearted and behold the upright. They shall have peace. Adonai, you redeem the soul of your servants, and none who trust in you shall be desolate. Continue with Psalm 23, Adonai Roi, page 576.
Adonai roi lo echsar v'hinot sheyarbitzeini al mei meluchot Nafshi yeshovev, yeshovev, yancheini b'magelei tzedek, yancheini b'magelei tzedek, lema'an Adonai roi lo echsar. Adonai roi lo echsar.
Please join me on page 576, a psalm of David. Adonai is my shepherd, I lack nothing. God makes me lie down in green pastures. God leads me to water in places of repose. God renews my life. God guides me in right paths, as befits God's name. Though I walk through a valley of deepest darkness, I fear no harm, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You spread a table for me in full view of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My drink is abundant. Only goodness and steadfast love shall pursue me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of Adonai for many long years. Page 577, Psalm 121. Esainai el heharim me'ayin yavo ezri me'im Adonai oseh shamayim va'aretz. I turn my eyes to the mountains, from where will my help come? My help comes from Adonai, maker of heaven and earth. God will not let your foot give way, your guardian will not slumber. See, the guardian of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. Adonai is your guardian, Adonai is your protection at your right hand. By day the sun will not strike you, nor the moon by night. Adonai will guard you from all harm, God will guard your life. Adonai will guard your going and coming now and forever. Page 580. Yizkor Elohim nishmot yakirenu shahalchu le'olamam. May God remember forever our loved ones who have gone to their eternal rest. May they be at one with the one who is life eternal. May the beauty of their lives shine forevermore. And may my life always bring honor to their memory. This time of Yizkor, we think of Jack Abbey, husband of Joan Abbey, Eleonora Agatstein, mother of Marge Weiser, Stephen Edward Bennett, father of Cindy Braun, John Berger, brother of Dan Berger, Tilly Block, aunt of Barbara Meyer, Sally Carr, mother of Audrey Pastrick, Jack Cohen, uncle of David Antwerp, Eileen Donnell, cousin of Rabbi Stephen Carroll, Mathis Greenblatt, cousin of Rabbi Stephen Carroll, Charles Holsberg, stepfather of Robert Goldhaber, Larry Jaffe, friend of Barbara Meyer, Stephen Kurtz, grandson of Honey Katz, our congregant Rhoda Lieberman, Bernard Leibowitz, father of Larry Leibowitz, Robert Maresca, father of Paul Maresca, Rabbi Dov Marmer, Mary Murphy, sister of Pat Urquhart, Al Newman, father of Wendy Sidlowski, Murray Roth, brother of Carol Swerdloff, Sandra Scheinberg, mother of Lisa Corellis, Alice Schleifer, our congregant, Marcia Spira, friend of Alan and Myra Rozovsky, Alan Stark, father of Jessica Rush, Harry Stern, father of Howie Stern, Jim Windsor, friend of Ira Schiff, Bert Wyatt, brother of Sarah Bloom, Barbara Zaret, wife of Ira Zaret, Ruth Zuckerwise, mother of Phyllis Stern. If you have other names for a yahrzeit, please feel free to mention as I look in your direction. Those watching on live stream, feel free to do so as well at this time.
Daniel, David, Margaret and Catherine Jost, Cy, Barbara, Joe, and Shirley Rosenbaum, Jean Levy.
We'll turn to page 582. Please rise as we listen to El Malay Rachamim.
El Malay Rachamim, Shochen Bamromim, Hamatzei Menucha Nechona, Tachat Kanfei Hashchina, Im Kedoshim Utehorim, Ki Zohar Harakia, Mazhirim, Lenishmat Yakireinu, Shehalchu Leolamam, Baal Harachamim, Yastirim Besitir Kinafav Leolamim, Veitror Bitror Hachayim Et Nishmatam, Adonai Hu Nachalatam, Vayanuchu B'Shalom HaMishkavam, V'nomar Amen.
Fully compassionate God on high, to our loved ones who have entered eternity, grant clear and certain rest with you in the lofty heights of the sacred and pure, whose brightness shines like the very glow of heaven. Source of mercy, forever enfold them in the embrace of your wings. Secure their souls in eternity. Adonai, they are yours. They will rest in peace. And we say, Amen. Please remain standing. We turn to page 586 for Aleinu. I'd like to invite Mark Frelich to open the ark for us.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol, la'teit gedula li'yotzer b'reshit, shelo asanu kegoyei ha'aratzot, velo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yihyeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
Shabbat Shalom. Please be seated. Page 595. There are stars up above so far away we only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. And we think of the yard sites, especially of George Balaton, Harold Levine, father of Maddie Whitman, Norman Metzger, Philip David Trenk, Pesach, father of Abe Trenk, Ben Cashton, father-in-law of Joe Donnelly, Bernard Rozovsky, father of Alan Rozovsky, Deborah Lee Sherman, sister of Elisa Rosati, Bruce Gabrielson, husband of Suzanne Gabrielson, Pearl M. Schatzer, Stanley A. Sherpin, Edith Yarmus, Sophie Millie Gruskin, Martin Lieberman, husband of Paula Lieberman, Francine Schoenfeld, mother of Jay Schoenfeld, Howard Ethan Stolovitsky, son of Carol Ann Gordon, Vivian Teller, mother of Betty Fagan, Milton Bernstein, father of Gary Bernstein, Morris Sadens, father of Mark Sadens, Nettie Zucker, Barney Burke, Irving Carlin, brother-in-law of Paula Lieberman, Harold Cashton, brother-in-law of Joe Donnelly, Mary Mednick, Bernard Pincus, grandfather of Stephen Sokoloff, Larry Premliser, husband of Bernice Kornfeld Premliser, Julius Rosen, father of Mort Rosen, Renata Ruisi Riccio, mother-in-law of Myrna Ruisi, Harry Wexler. We also remember for Shloshim, those who have passed away recently, Matas Greenblatt, cousin of Rabbi Stephen Carroll, Larry Jaffe, friend of Barbara Meyer, Jim Windsor, friend of Iris Schiff and Randy Cantor, Alan Stark, father of Jessica Rush. If you have names specifically for Yartzeit or Shloshim, please feel free to mention as I again look in your direction, and again those watching on live stream, feel free to mention at this time as well. The names we have read and mentioned, for those in our own hearts and minds, and those who have no one to say the words of Kaddish for them. We turn to page 598 in the Siddur. There we find these words of Kaddish, praising God for the gift of life and the sacred, special memories that we have. It's our custom to stand together as a holy congregation in support of those in mourning as we recite these words together. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, ve'alma divra chirute v'yamlich malchute, v'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, v'gala u'v'zman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehi Shemei Rabbah Mevarach Le'olam U'amei Almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal Shmei Kudusha Barichu Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba min Shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, all Israel and all of humanity. And we say, Amen. Please be seated. And I'd like to invite Lloyd Newman, representing our temple board, for some greetings and announcements.
Thank you for coming tonight so we can pray together as a community. It's wonderful to see everybody here this evening. Please put the rhythm instruments in the basket at the back of the sanctuary on your way to the Onig in the social hall. If you have any questions or comments or would like to know more about Temple Isaiah, please see me after the service. Our next service is being held on Friday, May 26th at 7:30 p.m. Oh, well, I guess June 2nd is the next one. We have a couple of save the dates. Wednesday, June 7 at 6 p.m. in the social hall is the first annual Eileen Donnelly Sisterhood Member Appreciation Dinner and book discussion. The book is The Paris Library by Janet Skisleen Charles. On June 2, at 6 p.m., we honor Rabbi Paul. Everybody is also welcome for our Pride Shabbat on Friday, June 9 at 7:30. Stay well, stay safe. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
So before we conclude, I want to say thank you to everyone for coming and for all those who participated, for those who joined on live stream. Thank you, Dan Vogel, our accompanist, for the beautiful music as always. And I want to say a special thank you to our cantor, Calix Jacobson, who we, of course, honored and thanked officially last week. But tonight is actually Calix's final service with us. Certainly not the end of a relationship with the congregation by any means, but final official service, and we can't thank you enough for all that you've contributed through your beautiful music, through your teaching, and your warm personality, who has made knowing you and listening to you so enjoyable. And I know personally, I've said to you how what a pleasure and honor it's been to share the Bima with you, and know that we'll stay in touch.
The feeling's mutual.
Thank you. I'll invite you to lead us in a final song, Torah Tziva Lanu Moshe, song for Shabbat, and as we have concluded Shavuot, of celebrating the gift of Torah to us.
Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe.
Adonai oz le'emo yiten, Adonai varech et amo v'shalom. God, may we be strengthened by the vows that we individually make to ourselves, to our loved ones, to our communities, to our country. May it help strengthen us, and may we move together to a world of shalom, of wholeness, and of peace. Amen. And we will join in Kiddush and Hamotzi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lemasei v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikroi kodesh, zehicher litziat mitzrayim, kivanu v'acharta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol hamim, ve'shabbat kodshecha, ve'ahava u'v'ratzon, hinchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. L'chaim.
We'll join in Hamotzi. Shabbat Shalom.
To invite you to something and I realized I didn't have your number.
689 talk.
Oh, I like that.
It's not a wait. It just happened. I didn't even know until
10 years ago. We've had that number for 40-something years.
Oh, that's great. Let me add it 1 second. Because I just performed in the library today. A classical concert my mom played, a cellist played, but I was like, I don't know my. Yeah. Hello.
Hello.